wrong twice now, so I'm gonna just say Vici's gonna win, because then my actual prediction would be right. Because I still think Fnatic can win the series. I do agree, Vici's actually the better team, but the better team doesn't always win.
Okay, well, we're going over to the commentators. Final game of the series, winner, move on to the upper bracket, and yeah, I will kind of lean a little bit towards Vici. They've definitely been the ones deciding if they win and lose the games. Fnatic being the reactionary team, but let's see what happens in our last game. We go into the match and over to our commentators.
James, so just time for a pause of teams. Fnatic versus Vici Gaming, game number 3. Stuff on the line here. Fnatic definitely would have been able to look at a very big upset if they can actually take out Vici Gaming. That would be the second big upset of this tournament in the second group. But the lineup is looking a little bit interesting. Vici Gaming have definitely gone for some really strong lane dominance in their pick, and it's looking like they could potentially win 2 out of 3 of their potential lanes. But Fnatic do have a lot of team fight. Blitz, where do you really side when it comes to this draft? Do you favor Vici Gaming's early dominance, or do you think that Fnatic are going to be able to persevere and come through with all their team fight and push?
I say a lot of it depends on how much the Brute is able to accomplish. Like Ice can get a lot done in his lane, then they'll have an okay time. They're putting a lot into this, sending Burning to the off lane. It's never going to be like a true off lane because he's the Witch Doctor's one of the best full off laners in the game, but you're seeing a lot of hope on Ice being able to do a lot in the mid lane.
They are going to be able to keep the Broodmother away from the Tidehunter by putting Ice in the middle lane, and they'll be able to keep the Razor matched up against the Tidehunter. This is pretty much the ideal scenario for Vici Gaming. They wanted to be able to have the Razor versus the Tide, the Broodmother, able to stay clear of that kind of matchup, and as you said, the Bristleback and Witch Doctor, even if they are in the off lane, it's going to be perfectly acceptable for them. So right now, it's just Burning, as is going to be spending a bit more time trying to zone out Ohio in the beginning. Meanwhile, FY is just going to be jungling away with his very fast Iron Talon pickup. I think they realized because of the lane dominance that they picked out of their draft, they could afford to get a lot greedier with their forward position. You would see other Night Stalkers perhaps go for the boots first and the Iron Talon picked up a little bit later, but they can afford for this Night Stalker to be out of action in the first 4 minutes of this game and try and get those levels for the first nighttime.
Hey, right now Mushi's doing fine in this mid lane. He's more or less refarming. Already picked up the first 7 out of the 8.
Oh, Sunstrike! Oh no, the glimpse actually went down right as the Sunstrike was going to land. They still get the kill on Burning though, so that is all going to be just fine. Burning seeming to underestimate the power of the Forge Spirits and that minus armor that was ticking into him.
I don't know how they're going to kill Watermelon Man later in the game. I feel like this Tidehunter just hit them slowly.
Yep. Goes for the mech build, just tanks up and runs at you.
Well, you've got a Chen.
So that's true.
Mech. So, I don't know, you just grab a blink or shit.
Yeah.
Run at people, and what can they do? Because all of a sudden, Courier, oh, it's gonna be fine though. Courier's so speedy, 350 move speed, faster than a CM, man.
Ice with a 15 and 7 Broodmother. Maybe that's why they're putting so much attention though to the Tidehunter at bottom lane, having Fenrir sit there. Try and keep him zoned out early on in the laning phase to make sure that he doesn't get too big, because as he said, they're going to have a hard time stopping him.
3 lanes are doing really well overall though for Fnatic. The Tidehunter's already picked up level 3, and Solo Witch Doctor is going to have a hard time. A lot of it's going to come down to Super being able to rotate. Ben has 15 CS already in this mid lane. Double levels of Great Cleave. He's been able to zone out Ice really well right now. Even going to make
go on Burning with the Sunstrike. It looks like they do have enough nuking power. The Exort Invoker showing its strength as the early global power is able to assist in yet another kill onto Burning. Meanwhile, Ohio is actually going to go hunting. He's actually looking for what FY has been doing in the jungle. Of course, he fed himself away earlier intentionally as he bought out all of his items. Just a quick respawn back to base and back to jungling. He's going to go.
Things are going really well right now for Fnatic overall. I thought Vici second. I think there's a better. I would have taken them win this series, but Fnatic's draft in this game looks solid, well built out. Ben is having a much better time than I would have previously did. And that's been without DJ having to rotate too much. And He made that first rotation into that mid lane, which was incredibly successful, but this is something that they need out of him. Because in the first game, he was pretty much everywhere. He was a demon. But in the second game, they predicted him a lot better. This time around, feels like they're having an overall better go of things. The laning phase has been really good right now. Ice has even been the switch lanes because Mushi was doing so well, but then Mushi just rotates back.
Yeah.
He's got 3 levels of the cleave.
Yeah, and a mid lane, that's going to be mid lane Broodmother. That's pretty well countered. He's not really going to be able to do much. It looks like he's going to be able to run down net here for a potential early kill. The nuke isn't quite enough to finish him off. Fairy Fire used just in case. We do have nighttime up though, and this is where things can really start going the way of Vici Gaming. They can kind of offset some of the success that Fnatic had early on with the rotations of FY. He was jungling away. He reached 4x4 thanks to that Iron Town, has boots and everything else. So he's definitely can get a lot done. But so far his rotations are being spotted out. Doesn't really get that chance to go in Ohio nor mid one at the mid lane.
He does go 2-1-1. Ben was telling us that build sucks, but
pretty necessary for the 4 position Night Stalker. Off lane Night Stalker, the extra level in Stalker in the Night is pretty acceptable, but 4 position, especially against intelligence mid, is necessary.
I'm just giving Ben Guff. You gotta always give the BT. You gotta keep the BT guys on their toes. Mushi.
Is this going to be a is Orchid? Is this going to be an Orchid though? Because we've seen a lot of Broodmothers stay away from the Orchid.
Yeah, but against like an Invoker or not an early BKB Sven, it's enough to pick up. Problem right now is the Sven's getting really massive. So is the Chen and the Invoker. Like all three of the cores, with the exception of the Tidehunter. Counting Chen as a core for example, just because farming. He's getting pretty big. Got to pick up the level 6 at a reasonable time. The Ty's got stacks going on. He's got an Iron Talon picked up himself. Everything's going really well. Whereas Burning, what is he meant to do? Can't really lane up against any of these individual heroes.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been forced to. He has a bobble, but potential is pretty low on mid one. One's already about to pick up the Midas after like creep waves. This Sven's getting an absolute free farm. The game right now is pretty much in Fnatic's control.
The other thing that Vici Gaming aren't doing is they're not trying to counter out the Ancient stack. We talked about the progression of the way that he spends. You need to be able to block out that camp. Mid one is going to be gone on the mid lane. They have the casket to be able to follow up. Silence is there as well, but mid one is going to be able to just walk it off. Ohio was forced to TP, but still seems alright. They already have quite the big Ancient stack, which means the Tidehunter and the Sven, they can actually clear through that really early on.
Yeah. Actually for Vici, they've got a stack of their own built up for Burning, but don't know if it's going to be as... Burning really needs this though, just to get back into the game. Yeah. Whereas the Sven or the Tide could benefit from it, but I feel like they can just play into it at some point. And you give this for Mushi, get absolutely massive. And Vici is really in no position to invade that Ancient anyway.
Yeah, certainly not.
Radiant's top tower is under
really
attack.
do not have the heroes to be able to make that kind of excursion. I would like them to clear it through together, just like Mushi gets all the gold, but I would like a decent experience boost on Ohio. Ice is probably going to be going down here, the Sunstrike combination, and the Chen is going to be able to take him out pretty quickly. And Mushi did use God Strength for that one, so they can actually take this opportunity to take the tier 1 tower. Vici Gaming are losing way more control over this laning phase than I ever expected.
Yeah, and Ohio's about to grab his level 6 on the Tidehunter. Once that happens, the really annoying thing about playing against the Tidehunter, I don't think he should die here. No, he should be fine. The annoying thing about playing against the Tidehunter is this. Into a position where you're ready behind, and you don't really want to fight into a Ravage, because if you fight into a Ravage, you're going to lose like 3 towers to win the fight. But if you just never fight and allow him to take a bunch of towers, you can't really be, you don't really want to be behind when you're against a hero.
Right. Now, they are trying to shut him out as much as possible. Fairy Fire is going to be popped by Ohio. They're going to turn their attention to the tier 1 tower since they forced the Tidehunter back, but this is FY has been really ineffective. He tried all night time to be able to find some sort of opening, couldn't find anything, And even if he did get a little bit better position, they still have a 10 heal to be able to counter his gank out. Ice is going to go for the kill on the Disruptor, brings him quite low. DJ goes down to the bottom lane, though. Super is going to be popped by the Sunstrike. Good peg out by Fnatic. They're actually going to go for a little more. FY, Anchor Smash, a little bit more right-click damage would have actually finished him off, but it wasn't quite enough. Disruptor did end up going down to Ice. But still, Mushi is okay with that. He left his support to die and just kept pushing out the lane. Farming away because he's got level 8 Helmet Dominator, Strength Treads, another 1300 gold. He is exceptionally farmed thanks to laning up against a Broodmother.
Got the max level Drake Cleave now too. Going for the Roshan, or not the Roshan, the Ancient Stack at this point. Be acceptable, and Fnatic can even go for early Roshan heroes that they have. Ben Chen Invoker, and this is a Exiled Invoker too, so you already got the double. And mid one already has the Midas contingent, 1800 gold. At some point, like, you have to do something with your Vici. So next nighttime, FY just has to, they have to play around the Sterling. So you can't just play this passive farming game against boards that are out farming you this massively. Look at the CS difference alone between the top two of Fnatic versus the top two of Vici.
Yeah. To be fair, Sven's score is a bit overinflated by obviously the Broodmother, but
that's okay because now he's got a full ancient.
Yeah, which is actually going to... Oh, mid one! Oh, what? Oh, he managed to barely complete that TP and gets back to base despite Void being used there. One of those same frame instances. Super is kind of caught at the bottom lane. Earlier, Fnatic were able to take that tier 1 tower because of a glimpse send back on the Razor when he tried to TP in to defend the tower. Fnatic are getting so much control, and they're actually going to back out 3-man smoke. Are they going to turn back into the jungle? It looks like it. They want to just continue, try and force this one, and see if they can find an opportunity for Tidehunter to be able to use the Ravage for good. But Super is in a good position to be able to get a drain off until the 10 creeps come forward. They have so much control over Super, they're able to just pop him down. FY comes in, but the 10 heal is going to go out, and DJ is actually going to survive for quite some time. Burning is sent back, and DJ gets an opportunity to force another Void before he dies, or maybe not. The body blocks are not allowing FY to be able to connect that Void, so the Chen is able to get out. Now they look towards Ohio, but the mini stun's already been used, so he just TPs himself away. Fnatic cover that fight beautifully, popping the Razor and making sure that they don't give up anything in return.
In some ways, I kind of think that's okay for Vici, because that was the Ravage used, and you didn't lose too much out of that. That could have been a lot worse, but at the same time, picking up a core kill is always going to be okay.
Yeah.
Especially when you just grab the 3 mid tower for Mushi. He's already got the Ancient Stack. He's going to have... this is starting to get absurd. He's going to get a 13-minute SNY.
They desperately need this game to go well, but his God Strength is still going out, and Casket was their only real control against him.
So funny. Mushi gets gone on, and then he just goes for creeps. It's like, this doesn't do anything.
He's like, yeah, you guys can't kill me.
Kill out a little bit, guys.
Yeah. Dual Scepter's up for the Invoker, so ready to go for some Meteor Deafening Blast. But
man, he doesn't even need to do that. If he catches any of the supports, just Ward Spear plus Cold to get a kill. What is a Witch Doctor gonna do against that?
The 2 supports are going to go up the ramp and run into mid-one. They will be able to get the control, and the silence is out. Silence is only going to last so long, though, if Dual Scepter is able to get laid out. They have the jump away with Ghost Walk and no counter vision whatsoever from Vici Gaming. That is a huge mistake. They definitely should have an FY or something.
That was one of their better opportunities, but even then, that's good for Fnatic because you're creating space on some part of the map. Or this fan doesn't go for the SNY, but a really early blink. 12 minutes into the game, he's got so many items that he shouldn't have. I don't really care about the Broodlings or anything. It's still a lot.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower.
Way more than he ever should have. Net is going to go down as finally FY gets the first successful rotation game for him.
Fnatic for the 3rd game in a row. Gonna go for this early Roshan. Dire side. Believe no Alpha Wolf creep in there, right? But still gonna take this.
Yeah, FY seems like he may have some sort of idea, but he definitely shouldn't put himself in that pit right now. It's going to be a free Aegis for them. I think Vici Gaming know at this point in time, no, they can't. They don't have the kind of heroes that are going to be good at quickly rotating to a pit and fighting. So instead, they just put Ice take the tier 1 tower at top lane. They'll push at mid and bottom as much as they can, but ultimately that is a complete forfeit of a lot of control to Fnatic. They both take that Roshan, they take the Ancient stack. These are all bigger objectives that allows that other teams, other kind of strategies, would have tried to put a stop, but Mushi's just getting total free farm at this point.
Yeah, and Mushi's going to get sent back to base. They don't want to waste his Aegis like this, but he's just going to be fine, come back in a second, and this is where Fnatic gets really scary. The Ravage up on the Tidehunter cap, you can't fight even without that spell. It doesn't really matter. That Tidehunter's there. He just did not participate in farm, but he's gonna show up anyways, and Fnatic bought the Brood Mother.
They do get the dust on him. Ice is getting himself away. Net is not quite in range of a glimpse. Unfortunately, that's a level 3 glimpse. So he does get a send back. Another dust being popped. Ice actually going for the kill. The Ravage is going to be used. They pop everything to be able to get the kill on Ice. Fnatic don't really seem to be shying away from full commitment like that. They know that Vici Gaming can't really fight them anyway, so whatever pickoff that Fnatic can get, it doesn't matter what abilities they choose to use for it.
Fnatic's going to farm up another agent. Decent amount of farm. And has so much.
She's gonna run into Burning at the perfect time. He's got dodge strength too, as well as the Blink Dagger still up. Burning's most definitely dead. He's gonna run into DJ. Nuke isn't quite enough, but DJ will still pick up that kill.
I want to play fast now. You want to take out this tier 2, and you don't really want to slow down the pace of the game. I think if they had Ravage, they could have gone for potentially the high ground. With the mech up on the 10-2. Doubt it. They might be a little bit more hesitant. And dodge strength hasn't been used already.
So more likely to go from this push to the tier 2 tower push in mid, but surprisingly enough, Vici Gaming are going to try and contest it, perhaps because the Ravage is down, try and go for some sort of catch, but it's not going to happen. Net sends him back with a glimpse, TD away, a full and complete extraction from Fnatic.
During this time too, mid one has just been farming. He realizes the pace of this game, and they are so happy right now. If you're a Fnatic fan, you're jumping for joy because everything is being done correctly. You're creating space by using 4 heroes to take a tier 2 and the Aegis, and they know that Vici can't contest that. During this time period, the Invoker's like, I'm just going to get further and further ahead. Yeah.
And there's not the same kind of high ground defense that we saw from game number 1, where Fnatic did have a stumble, right, as they executed perfectly in phase 1 and phase 2, but weren't able to see it all the way through in the early game and end the game as fast as possible. They stumbled, but part of that was kind of the strength of Vici Game's lineup. They don't have the same kind of heroes here. As you said, so important for them to stay ahead. DJ is going to get picked off. Ice gets that kill before the Centaur stun could complete.
So many creeps there, or so many broodlings. I think both of those are dead, right? Yeah. Not much you can do about that, but still just a really small hiccup. Vlads to help to push out a little bit more.
Vigo BKB next, because of the potential Fnatic to go high ground soon.
On who?
On Broodmother. No. I think Razor is still good, right? But you just kind of need, don't you need teamfight winning items at this point in time because you know you're in a little bit danger of Fnatic going high ground and ending the game?
Oh, Ice when Vlad took what?
Yeah. Not pure. We didn't really talk about that. Good enough.
You're so dead.
Yeah. Very, very dead.
You're Vici. I don't even know if you have better game. Invoker and Sven that are this farm with the Tidehunter backing up for counter initiation is really, really strong.
Silence, and that is not gonna last long enough. That is only a day duration.
I don't even know what you're supposed to build as Vici. This is such an odd position to be in. You don't really have better mid-game team fights. If you walk into a fight against Fnatic's lineup, you're just going to get crushed. Think about how the Tide has used Ravage this entire time. And using it to save this support, get solo pickoffs. He hasn't used it once for team fights, and the sad truth is, he hasn't had to.
Right.
Vici's just so far behind right now that there's been no need for him to get a perfect ravage off. Ohio can just use it for these individual pickoffs, the brood mothers.
Well, that's a nice little pickup. They actually stopped the Vlad from being picked up by Chrissy. But that's a whole nother problem. Chrissy is able to have a Vlad before 20-minute marker with Arcane Boots and Mech. So
Issues on issues on issues.
yeah.
The Invoker now has a fire too.
But that's why I was kind of talking about the BKB, right? If you don't think you can actually win some of these team fights against Fnatic because Tidehunter, etc. is so strong, but you also are in a position where Fnatic may force those kind of game team fights because they have the potential to go high ground soon. Don't you just try and get the best kind of team fight items you can, which is usually BKB, or do you try and build something else?
Yes, it's not a terrible idea, honestly. The Bristleback's gonna go for an SNY. Needs to. What were you laughing about?
Description of my suggestion. That's not a terrible idea.
I'm really trying to.
I can tell you're having a hard time seeing what is the win condition for Vici Gaming.
Because you've got a BKB stun coming up.
Yeah, they were never supposed to be behind with this kind of line.
But our lane's super hard. Yeah. Wushi's just gonna blink backwards. Vici's just being denied at every turn right now. And there's some kind of internal race happening between mid-1 and Wushi to see who can get the most unbelievable farm.
That's why he gets pulled back by the Glint. That'll be another one-off pick there for Vici Gaming. You do have to give Vici Gaming props, though. While we've talked about how the Tidehunters use Ravage for one solo-off pick, it's because they managed to avoid every single team fight that Fnatic ever tried to force. Yeah. They always limit it to 1 or 2 hero deaths and call it a day.
You just have to split up the map. Your Vici, wait for the Aghanims on the Night Stalker. I think this is the biggest item for them. And then play the vision game and try not to mess up one of the few opportunities that you have, because your timing window small. If you lose the consecutive fights, then Fnatic just take Roshan and go for high ground.
Yeah,
so if you're Vici, just bend, don't break. Like just hold the line for as long as you can.
And rear is going to be going back into the Static Storm. So that's one of those big team fight ultimates willing to be used on the takeoffs. Fnatic know the tempo of this game. They know that Vici Gaming are unlikely to contest. F1 is actually going to drive here, but Ohio does have the Ravage, and sure enough they use it here. It's a bolt at kinetic fields, and I mean, he's not getting away either. Vici Gaming still trying to fight this out with Ice coming in from the side, but Chen still has the heal. This is looking so bad. Vici Gaming, they avoided team fight after team fight, and they chose once to actually try and fight Fnatic, and not a terrible surprise that be a big loss.
Broodlings are going to try to split up the map, but they don't really care. They're going to go for the high ground now, and finally they walk into the Tidehunter, and as expected, you can't fight that guy. He just waits for the Ravage opportunity when 3 heroes are there. Everybody from Fnatic is so farm.
I'm a bit baffled, to be honest, that Vici Gaming did that. It's like, oh, you know, Static Storm used on a Witch Doctor. Lose the Witch Doctor, it's all fine. No, two-man stun from Mushi. Excellent initiation. Eliminates Burning. Tries to get FY as well. Hoping to be able to run him down. Be able to get back to base, though. There is no buyback on Burning, but the Broodmother is up in another 10 seconds. It's definitely more than enough time, though, for Fnatic to take a lane of racks. Vici Gaming are unlikely to contest. If they did 4 versus 5 and lost, that would be straight up the end of the game. So they're just trying to prolong things, but they call it. Vici Gaming, they just seemed stumped from like minute 5 as to what to do. They lost their lane so badly when they never should have, that they couldn't figure out a way to come back into this game. They tried the farming route, but things had to come to a head eventually.
I'm sort of disagree there though, because what lane were they going to win? I guess the bottom lane.
I mean, if you look at the kind of the heroes, I guess they picked lane dominating heroes, but didn't necessarily have the lanes that we're going to win.
Fnatic's so legit. Gods is right. He can play me all he wants on the